Honglu's childhood has been revealed to be quite a nightmare so far. But that's not the worst part of it, as I already suspect what happens next. After being separated from Zuri Barjai, they encountered Jia Sichun. She did not want to encounter the damned dozen, as she knew, having fought alongside them before, she had no chance of winning. She was the most exasperated at seeing Honglu. She hoped that they'd never have to meet. Rodia was concerned about her, asking if she's doing okay. Jia Sichun told her that she isn't dead, but she's almost out of coins. Wei told them that they were attacked by Jia Huan, who wiped out their entire forces. Jia Sichun barely managed to protect what she had because there was no way that she was letting him eliminate her. But given how the game was going, she'll place somewhere within the top 5 merely by surviving this long in that shrinking arena. Good enough to pick up some trinket from a random corner of the treasury. Asking if her brother can confirm this, she let out a wry laugh, as if he was a bitter joke. Then sighed deeply as she regarded the others, asking what's happening there. They look rough. She then noticed Lin Daiyu asking what she's doing there. Dante understood that she noticed that they were unusually downcast. Honglu told her that she doesn't need to mind that, but if she wants to come with them, she could. She refused, telling them to leave her. If she's to be eliminated, she'll face it head-on and accept it. Wei wanted to say something, but she reminded him that the family hierarchy was a place to demonstrate what she's prepared so far. This just means that she didn't prepare well enough. It sucks, it's frustrating, but she has to accept the results. Honglu understood the game should end soon, so they said that there aren't many candidates left in the game. He'll see her outside, telling her to stay safe. This surprised Jia Sichun. He was going to let her go? He's not going to take her coins? Well, she doesn't have enough coins to... He told her that he's in the same place as her. It sucks, but they'll try their best until the end, but he doesn't want to take hers. Jia Sichun then told him that she didn't know when it happened, but she knew that he had suddenly changed. Then we see a vision of the more recent past, when she asks, "What did he say?" Jia Baiyu agreed with her. If that's what she wants, she's free to hurt him, to try and kill him, just like their siblings and children from other families would. He's bound to leave Daiguan Yuan in a few years, so before that happens, maybe she can... This was clearly the most hurtful thing that he could ever say to her, as she asks, how could he say something like that to her? He struggles to put why into words. He told her that he didn't want to care about matters of life and death anymore. This horrified her. He never should have said that to her. She wouldn't visit him ever again, and she hopes that their paths never crossed even after he departs Daiguan Yuan. Yeah, this clearly hit her harder than any physical attack ever could. They were close enough for her not to try and kill him. Back in the present, she told him those words haunted her every time she saw his face. He was smiling, like someone who had already given up on everything. But she was in no position to lecture anyone, as she didn't even bother asking him what happened. She just completely ignored him and avoided him. After a pause, she told him that she ran into Jia Qiu earlier. She thought that she was going to kill her or take what few coins she had left, but he just glanced at her before walking away. She found this strange. Both of them. She had no idea what either of them wanted. Wei advised them to keep moving. He vowed to protect her with his dying breath. He wished them good tidings until the end of the game. Resentment is an avenging cycle of infinite weights, every meeting and reunion an immutable destiny. Thus, karma of one's previous lives measures their worldly stay before the final flight. Wealth in the twilight of life is a fortune most rare. Those who understand this leave their homes for temples, and those who are seduced by it fill their time with empty air. Birds, their bellies full with feed, flutter away to the forest. The field of white snow remains pristine, nary a footstep marring its immaculacy. The host then said, "I see a candidate who has lost a bunch of coins. Someone among the audience wishes to grant an opportunity to rebound. Well, it seems that we'll have to send you some wooden dummies to recoup your lost coins." If they refused the challenge, Dante decided that they needed more rest than coins, and nothing happened. If they accept the challenge, this is to recoup what they've lost. So they fought the training dummies and gained 2 coins from that battle. They then moved from the southwest trigram to the west trigram, and there are 2 paths. One with a short one, and one with a long one. One has an additional event, but the short path has one event. Streams turn crimson with fallen petals, and unspeakable sorrow becomes a vast, innumerable system of roots. Lust, the unresolved resentment, blames naught but the springtime breeze. There were 2 large jars in the room, with 2 mysterious devices hanging from above them. The host's voice booms from the speakers the moment they approach the jars. "Another chance to earn yourself some coin. The conditions are simple. Remain as long as you can inside those jars. Try sending in a clan member who's not so easily rattled and pick up your coins. Easy, right?" The chosen was sent in. A check happens. If it passed, the chosen and some other candidates, clan members, crawled into the jars. The device activated, and all kinds of creepy, crawly bugs pour out of the device and into the jar. The chosen managed to stay inside, despite the horror, but everyone else jumped out of the jars, screaming. The host said, "Looks like our dear audience really enjoyed it. Well, it's too bad, but the coins are only for the brave ones who managed to stay inside the jar." Coins fell out from near the speaker. The chosen crawled out of the jar as well, with a look that cannot be described as anything positive. 2 coins were gained, but at the cost of the chosen taking 15 SP damage. If the check fails, it's much the same, except the chosen leapt out of the jar, unable to stand the sensation of crawling insects. That sounds like Roger. And receives no coins and 30 SP damage. Seriously, did they get inspiration from Japanese game shows? As that sounds like the kind of ritual humiliation that would be in one of those. Springtime's dream scatters like clouds in the wind, and falling petals float away on the stream. Thus, to every son and daughter, we pose this question: why seek and wonder for such vain suffering? This is how the long path starts, with its first event. There was another candidate in that room. The moment they entered the threshold, the door shut behind them, and the host's voice boomed from the speakers once again. "Defeat the opposing candidates and be granted the opportunity to find yourself a new path with even better opportunities. But we don't want to make this fight too boring, do we? Let's add some variables. With a heavy, thunking sound, suspicious plumes of smoke began to seep into the ground. Those who inhaled it began to cough violently. That couldn't be good. If they had the red entry card, Dante understood that this was not a good time to fight another candidate. As they were wondering if there was any way out of this, they noticed a locking mechanism with a card reader on it. They could use the entry card that the candidate that they met earlier gave them. Dante tapped the card against the reader, just in case it worked. It said, "Entry authorized." The door unlocked with a beep. They slipped out of the room as soon as the door reopened. And they left the room before the other candidate noticed. This opened a path. If they decided to fight the other candidates, they fought the Shi family mercenaries, despite all being poisoned by 3 each turn. It opened a path and granted them 2 coins upon winning. After that, the host said, "Well, whatever method you used to arrive in this room, congratulations are in order. As a reward for finding the secret room, feel free to take a helpful artifact. Just one, though. Although some of the artifacts might be off limits to those who don't have enough coins. Please choose carefully. They're precious artifacts from the great houses. As for the ones that can be chosen, any that chose the Shi family's artifacts, the leftmost box, it was an axe that the Shi family uses, which can charge powerful ripples. This was the lightning axe. Useful for charge identities, as 1 charge was gained each time 10 cumulative charge was consumed, and at 2 charge, 1 clash power was gained and more rupture was inflicted. If 5 or more charge was consumed with an attack. If they chose the second box from the left and had 10 coins, the Wang family's artifact, it was a talisman that they used, which contained a special power, the Heartrender talisman. This would grant 10 more damage if the sin affinity of an attack was gluttony, and if an identity was at below 15% or lower. Well, 15% or lower SP. The final coin of their attack would be unbreakable. If they chose the Zui family's artifacts, this would require 20 coins, the second box from the right. They wielded a Padaio, which was what their warriors used. It was huge, but it was light. This was the blood-severing blade. Now this one's useful for bleed identities, as when not at full HP, clash power was increased and it deals 1% more damage for every bleed on the target, up to 20%. If the rightmost box was chosen, this was the Jia family's artifact. This needed 25 coins. It was an auspiciously coloured bolus, which should have impressive qualities. This was the Jin Gang bolus. They would gain more final power and deal more damage if they took damage, including self-inflicted damage, and if they sustain damage that takes them to 1 HP, they heal 50% HP and gain 2 attack power up for the rest of the battle. Regardless, they also gain Moon in Water. This gives 5 more rupture to enemies on hit and 1 more poise and count is gained. And if they had Flower in the Mirror, they gained Flower Mound, and this would grant more clash power and damage. If the attack dealt rupture, and if the target had 15 or more rupture and was defeated, the one that defeated them would gain 2 offense up. The host announced that they were getting to the climax now. 2 candidates had been consecutively eliminated. A Shi candidate caved the Wang family candidate's head right in as soon as he lost his final coin, seeing it as a dramatic double knockout finish. So they took each other out. Don't tell me that it was Wang Dewei who was taken out by another Shi candidate. Jia Qiu was still in first place. Then a Shi family mercenary saw Hong Lu and decided to attack him, another identifying him as one of the Jia family. They knew that they had no chance against Jia Qiu, but they believed they could take out Jia Baiyu. They learned the hard way that they couldn't. Happiness and laughter are but illusions. Sorrow and grief are but illusions also. Avarice, yearning, and longing are but manifestations of one's vacuity. They, around the western trigram, ran into a different candidate's clan in a narrow hallway. The host said, "Feel free to duke it out, but with the candidates' mutual agreement, I think we can turn this battle into a more interesting game. It's up to the both of you, though." If they chose to fight them, they did so, as they didn't see a wager as needed as they already had the upper hand. The candidate was likely a Zui family candidate anyway, as the Padeo assailants were defeated and 5 coins were gained. If the wager was made, the host said, so there's a mutual agreement between the two candidates. The wager it is then. Very well. Place 5 of your coins in front of you, and send out a member of your clan and have them give a presentation on why their candidate is more deserving of the family hierarch seats. Refute your opponent's argument while reinforcing your own, and our dear audience will choose the winner. All right then, send out your most articulate and persuasive representatives. A check would happen, and if it passed, the chosen crushed the opponent's argument with ease. The opposing candidate's representative fell to their knees, clearly devastated by their loss. The host said, "Congratulations to the winner." The chosen would gather the 5 coins from the ground, and the chosen would be healed 15 SP. If the check failed, the opposing representative crushed the chosen's argument of ease. They walked up to them triumphantly to take the coins they've placed on the ground, as the chosen just stood there, overwhelmed, and the chosen would take 15 SP damage. Dante asked, do they have to hand over their coins? Why don't you just beat them up and take their coins back? Actually, nothing's stopping them from beating them up and taking their coins too. If they decided to fight them, Otis complimented Dante by saying, "Another day, another excellent display of your highly discerning judgment call, Executive Manager." While Don Quixote was disappointed at Master X Squire, since when did they commit this villainy? Roughly translated, and they fought the Padeo assailants, and gaining 5 coins. Otis was healed by 10 SP due to this. If they decided to back off, Dante decided to accept their defeat gracefully, leaving the coins and moving on, losing those 5 coins. Now, personally, I just prefer to kick their and get it over with. The Damned dozen commented on their decision before rushing at the opposing candidates. If they chose to not accept the loss gracefully. Gregor was noticing that everyone was getting more desperate, all cornered like them. This annoyed Ishmael, as they're not going to get a load of coins by coming after them. Some will steal the out of your... Not because they want it, it's just so that you don't have it. Urtis saw this as an opportunity to take advantage of. They can take their coins as they come to them, believing that they have a chance of winning. Then Din Dayu noticed something as they kept fighting off groups of enemies. Then a loud bang of a firearm echoed from not so far across the hallway. By the time Dante noticed this, Din Dayu leapt in front of Hong Lu and fell to the ground. She was wounded, but not critically. Then the shooter revealed himself. It was Gubo. Typical Encore. They work best when the enemy is either weakened or doesn't see them coming. Gubo was annoyed by the fact that she wasn't the intended target. He's still acclimatizing to the use of that EGO. It's never easy to aim right. Roger asked if she was okay, seeing this as a big wound. She denied this as serious, saying that this is perfectly fine. Honglu asked Lin Dayu why. She told him that it was a habit, considering that she's a bodyguard, and Zui Baochai wanted her to protect him, reminding him that she's from a family of bodyguards. He reminded her that his wounds could be rewound. Hers can't. She knew this. She believed that she could use life insurance if she died from this. He reminded her that it wouldn't work on someone who has been dead for too long. And he doesn't. More specifically, he didn't need to worry about life insurance. Now, yes, this made Honglu's eyes tremble briefly. He was reminded of Ziren's past. Then to her present, he likely didn't want the same thing to happen to her. Lin Dayu wanted to make amends for even a small fraction of the years of resentment she harbored for him, because she didn't want to see him in pain. Gubo found this quite strange, asking would anyone care to explain to him why that action taken for a different candidate's clan was causing such a stir. It's called a selfless act, Gubo. I know, not as rare as an honest wing executive, but still pretty rare. Gubo imparted a word of advice. Don't be so hasty in forging fellowships, for you might come across a fellow whom you had trusted to be a comrade, who would build a future together, only for them to flit away without a word. Gubo, you had Yisang drugged to keep him there, and you honestly thought that he would stay once he realized that he was a prisoner? Yisang told him not to speak with such impudence. Their shared past is not to be the subject of his ridicule. Gubo understood that their recent exchanges told him that he had learned to speak without letting the dirt on the ground draw the majority of his attention. No, more likely, he didn't let you tell him what to think. Yet Gubo preferred his old self, likely meaning that version that was drugged into submission, seeing how he was now as too slick, based on his lack of complete hesitation to come to his new fellow's defense. No, it's because he's earned his trust. You expect him to give it away. He then demanded that he get out of his way as he didn't want to hit the wrong target again. Jia Huan, or at least the one posing as the original, told Gubo that there was no need, mocking how little coins Honglu has, seeing that the pride and joy of Dagua Nuan. didn't need to have any bullets wasted on him. It was simply embarrassing. Honglu didn't see this as worth responding to. Either that or he was just waiting for Jia Huan to finish. Jia Huan saw Honglu as dishonouring the Jia family with his pathetic performance. Their family deserves to be the very best of the four houses. Honglu said that he talks as though he's already met every candidate from the Jia family. Jia Huan told him that he could say that. He made sure that Jia Zichun would be eliminated soon enough, seeing Jia Zichun and Wei as a foolish pair, both master and bodyguard. Not to mention the rest of the clan, that might as well not exist. Likely because Yu and Gubo took care of them. While others are practically giving the arms and legs of their followers to traps in order to scavenge as many coins as they can. She stubbornly chooses the straightforward, honest, and boring path, seeing it as a privilege not availed to someone who's so low on coins. He would have broken her skull, which would have made life insurance a non-viable option if she didn't give him the slip. This angered Gregor, who could see that Jia Huan wasn't interested in improving that horrible first impression, although he's not interested in starting a fight, likely because he doesn't see them as worth fighting at that time. So they wanted to administer first aid to Lin Daiyu. Ryushu didn't see any need. Urtis was alerted to a Haishu, although they were there for Lin Daiyu. Urtis understood this to mean that... Then the host finished that sentence by saying that Zoe Baochai, the last Zoe candidate, was eliminated, but not before bringing such a crushing defeat to that out-of-control Shi family candidates. Likely referring to the psychotic Shi Jiha, if not someone else. The reason why she was eliminated was because she wasted too much time in that fight to stay ahead of the rising walls, advising the clan members separated from her to remain where they are, as they'll be collected according to the procedures. Lin Daiyu understood that Zoe Baochai has been eliminated. This was as far as she went, as brief of that as that journey was. She was glad to have resolved many misunderstandings. Honglu tried to say something. She wished him safe passage, asking him to return this time. Then the Haishi picked her up, and I assume that she'll receive medical treatment for her injury. The host then announced that the game was racing to its end, suggesting that they try something unique this time to really enhance the experience. More emotion, more drama. Something like, what if they corralled the top 3 candidates into the same room? While the placement seemed pretty concrete now, could it shake that up somehow in the greatest turnabout in history? Games with predictable endings can be pretty boring for the spectators. Dante understood what this means. The host revealed the current rankings. Jia Qiu is first, Jia Huan is second, and Jia Baiyu is third. Ishmael understood that they were going to put them in the same room as them. The host asked if they're about to witness a turnabout. Is it even possible? Well, they'll find out soon enough. Jia Huan found this slightly amusing, not to mention interesting. As if they made it to third place with their coins. First place must be hoarding all the coins for himself, telling Hongdu that he'll enter first. He didn't want to display even the faintest semblance of amity with him. He suggested that he drop out of the game now, seeing that as the correct assessment of his limitations. Gregor was confused about what the host meant by turnabout, asking what the point of it was, seeing it as another way to make the show more interesting for the viewers to enjoy. Ishmael understood that if they come in third place and they're aiming for the golden bar, they're almost guaranteed to lose their objective to them. She asks how they're going to beat Jiaqu, especially with Jihuan there as well. Honglu didn't see any alternatives. If there's no way out, the only path is forward. Heathcliff asked if he was sure about this. Both of them are waiting for them in there. Heathcliff trailed off, hesitating to finish that sentence. Dante knew that neither of them were remotely fond of Honglu, so they're likely to go all out on trying to kill him. Heathcliff understood that much. Honglu knew that Jiaqu was waiting for him in there. He thought about this as he followed his father's family name, but he was still a part of the Kong family. He survived only because he happened to be away on the day of the Kong family's ruin. He found out only after his return. His mother was from the Kong family, and his father was from the Jia family, were all killed, and any close relatives were dead as well. He was welcomed by the empty ruins of that building, the silence of the Daguan people, and the tale of the Kong family's disgraceful greed and how it destroyed them. It wasn't the Kong family's greed that wiped them out. It was Jamu's paranoia and thirst for power that killed them. Apparently some servants warned Honglu that Jiaqu might come to take his life, as anyone could guess that he probably had something to do with that day, but he never came to find him. He simply left Daguan Yuan, and after that Hongguan, likely because he understood that a 10-year-old had nothing to do with that massacre. More likely Jamu did, and he knew better than to strike at the hierarch. That would more than likely result in him being a wanted man. Every fixed office, association, syndicate, and mercenary group, strong enough and brave enough to hunt him down, would be after him for the rest of his life. Honglu deduced that the fact that he has returned must be proof of his indefatigable determination and will. Of course, he didn't know what that was like.
Well, it looks like they're going to have to be creative with this in order to get through it. Until next time, hail the rabbit!